Good morning. Welcome to Great Transition Strategies Monday Morning Stand-Up. 5 minutes to get your week off to a great start and potentially give you something to make you a more effective leader. Today's topic is networking 2. Last week we talked about networking. Today we're going to talk about it again and more of a mindset. I'm Gary Slyman. I'm an executive coach, and I work with leaders like you all the time to help them become more effective in their professional lives, their personal lives, so they can love what they do. Networking. I want you to think of networking as a mindset. Change your mindset for networking. When I say networking to you, what's the image that comes to mind? Big room, a lot of people exchanging cards, not knowing a whole lot of people, maybe everyone trying to get something. So let's kind of flip the mindset of this. Think about this. Suppose you change the mindset to include these 3 things. Number 1, as opposed to thinking about the mindset of I'm trying to get something, think about what can I give? That's number 1. Number 2, be a regular and be a regular contributor. Regular at the networking event and contribute to it. And number 3, when you think about number 3, focus on the few. You always have this big image in your mind, all these people trying to give out cards and talk to each other. So think about the difference being it's going to be the few. So let's break each one of those down just a little bit. So number 1, focus on giving. I have changed my mindset completely to going to networking events, where now, as opposed to going and seeing what I can get from there, it is how can I contribute to this? What can I give to someone? Meet with someone, talk with them. I try to make connections. I try to understand what their business is, try to understand if you're at like a job search networking, how can I help them? How can I help connect them? So think about giving. How can I help the folks I'm talking to? That's number 1. That mindset shift is probably the most important. Number 2, when you think about what I talk about with number 2, it's be regular and be a regular contributor. I used to go to a lot of networking events. I now go to several. I have 3 that I'm at religiously. And in those, the people there know me. I help folks there. I contribute to them. And I am a contributor to that particular event. So how can you do that with whatever you're going to networking events for? How can you help folks? How can you contribute? And how can you be a regular? So people see you. Oh, Gary, hey, Bob, how you been? Talk. So you now are part of that community. So networking events now for me are really part of a regular meeting of folks that I want to meet with. Sometimes some new folks are coming. So it's really kind of a community. The last one, when you think about the last part, is focus on the few. You think of these big events, a lot of people. I'll give you, here's a scenario. I went to one networking event, big event, it was a breakfast, and then they had what they called speed networking. You had 15 minutes at a table with 8 people. They said, bring a stack of 50 cards. Everyone had 90 seconds to give a pitch and give out their cards to everyone. 15 minutes later, you switched, went to another table, same thing. 15 minutes later, went to another table. What do you think I felt like when I came home? I had a stack of cards, like 50 cards I had. Who are these people? Who did I talk? I don't remember hardly anyone there. Total waste of time. Those kind of events don't work. But suppose you went to an event and you were there for an hour and you focused on maybe 3-4 people. You met, you talked, you were in a group, you learned about folks, you helped them, you connected with them. Focus on the few. When you come home from that, you're like, okay, I learned something about them. I understand their business. I understand what they're looking for. So when you put these 3 things together, 1, what can I give? I met someone. I helped them. I gave them something. I contributed to this group. I saw people that I've seen before because I'm regular here. This is part of my community. And then the last one, when you think about the last one, focusing on just a few people, you're learning a lot more about the individuals as opposed to, here's my card. I'm an executive coach. Love the opportunity to meet your HR folks so we can talk. That doesn't mean anything. What's your style? Who are you? What about you? Where did you come from? How did you come to this? I hope you found that helpful. For me, the change of my mindset has made networking events a lot more fun and much more enjoyable for me and much more effective. So think about how you're going to contribute, how you're going to give, and how you're going to focus on the few. Thanks for listening. Hope you found that helpful. See you next week, Monday morning, 8:30 at my next stand-up. Have a great week.